Hello, this is Seamus, N7MYW. Today, a totally unrelated thing to ham radio. I decided to show off a little bit of my Shakuhachi collection. I'm into various types of flutes. Flutes have always been something I enjoyed, but the Shakuhachi is my favorite flute of all. Just a little bit of background. I really didn't know anything about the Shakuhachi until I was on a vacation in Southern California back in the late 90s, and I couldn't sleep very late. At night, I decided, you know what, I'm going to listen to a local radio station. And that's what I did, and they were playing a particular series at that time called Hearts of Space. So a wonderful radio program of world music that was being broadcast out of San Francisco at that time. I believe the man who was the narrator or the person who put it on was Jonathan Hill. I'd have to go look that up and double check. But Hearts of Space. And that particular episode featured the Shakuhachi and the Native American flute, both in the same episode. I was completely mesmerized and captivated, and that is when my journey into flute music and into flute started. Now, I'm going to step in front of the camera. I don't usually get in front of the camera very often, but I'm going to this time to show some of these flutes. The flutes that I have enjoyed very much over the last 8 years, 10 years. I got to try to remember exactly when I purchased them from them, but this particular flute, it's a Shakuhachi. It's a 1.8 in size. A little over, it's about 18 inches. This came from Perry Young. Perry Young's Shakuhachi Studios in New York. I believe he's still in New York. Perry, if not, correct me. This was the very first flute I ever purchased that was a Shakuhachi. It's been many, many years since I've had this. It's mainly used for meditation and for just improvising and noodling around on, but I love it. My first ever. Then I have a curly maple flute. And this particular flute, it's a Shakuhachi, but it's made of wood instead of bamboo. And this was made by Jeffrey Ellis Flutes. And I also have some other Native American flutes produced by Jeffrey Ellis as well. Absolutely amazing Shakuhachi made of wood instead of bamboo. My absolute favorite would be this Shakuhachi. Now, the Shakuhachi itself as an instrument is not super well known outside of Japan. It's one of the main Japanese instruments. But there are more and more non-Japanese makers and players of the Shakuhachi than ever before. This particular flute was made about the year I was born, 1966. So it's about 55, 56 years old. And another Shakuhachi made by Perry Young, who actually brought this over from Japan and conditioned it and made sure that it was up to snuff, took care of all of the issues it had of intonation. And I actually named my Shakuhachi, and this particular Shakuhachi is Hideo, which, if I remember correctly, means number one son in Japanese. I could be wrong on that, but I love this flute. Absolutely love this flute. My favorite flute. It's been with me for quite a long time now, and I thank Perry for that one as well. And yet again, another one from Perry. He has proved to be one of the best Shakuhachi makers out there. Builders, repair, everything. So a shout out to Perry Young and Young Flutes. So you can find him on YouTube, and you can find him on the internet as well with his own webpage. This particular Shakuhachi is a lower tone. This one is about 21 inches long. So a slightly different key, but definitely longer, as you can see. These Shakuhachi mean a lot to me. They're absolutely a delight to have. They sound amazing, and while I'm not going to play them in this particular video, if you're interested in hearing what the Shakuhachi sounds like, there are plenty of YouTube channels with people who play the Shakuhachi or build the Shakuhachi. But go to Perry Young's. There are so many such a wealth, of videos out there for the Shakuhachi and for Native American flutes, and I'll do those at another time. But I wanted to show my small collection of Shakuhachi. I hope to bring out more of these later. I do have a few recordings on SoundCloud of Shakuhachi and Native American flute. I haven't done that in a very long time, and I hope to eventually get to recording again. It's been a long time. So I'm hoping to set up my little recording studio and do that. But just another thing that I do that's not part of amateur radio. I love ham radio, but I also love photography, flutes, classical music. There's just so many things. Anyway, I wanted to share that. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate that so many people watch my videos. Getting close to 1,000 subscribers, which would be monumental for me. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if there's something you particularly want to see. And hit that bell icon, and of course, please, that thumbs up. I'm not a big fan of thumbs up, but in this case, the more thumbs up, the more the algorithm knows people are watching. So thank you so much for this, and for letting me share a little bit about my passions with the shakuhachi. 73 from N7MYW.